Hello, I hope you're keeping safe and well in these very, very strange times. I wanted to give you an update on what we've been doing and what we will be doing over the next few months to support the students, and I hope you find this useful. Stay safe and take care. The lockdown situation is a pretty difficult time for us all, but there is one slight silver lining in the cloud, and that's that Where's Wally is way, way easier. Just in case you're not sure, there he is. Although the school's been closed for most pupils, we've in fact remained open for children of key workers and students with EHCPs with particularly high levels of SEN need. So we're currently having around about 15 students per day. They're in the art block, and this provision is going to continue for the remainder of the academic year. Now, if you want your child to take part, please contact the school and we can get that set up quite quickly. Now, we've just finished our phase 1 return. We had about 80 students or so over the week by parental request from years 10 and 12. It was great to see everyone, absolutely fantastic. Lots of people a little nervous to start with, but actually over the sessions they got more confident, and they certainly seemed to get a lot out of these sessions. So it's great to get that done, and we're looking forward to phase 2. Now, phase 2 starts this week. We're quite limited, unfortunately, in what we can do. We can only have a quarter of the year groups at any one time, and it's about supporting online learning for our students. Now, that means we can only have about 70 odd students per day, with class sizes between 6 and 12, depending on the subject and also depending on room size. So it's all safe, 2 meters apart, etc. Everything's been sent out already to students' email addresses, and we're really looking forward to this wider opening. It's about face-to-face and social contact between students and staff, and it's about reminding students what school's all about and breaking the ice so we can get them set up for the next phase of their learning. When students return to school, we want to ensure they're safe, so we've taken a number of steps to keep them free from any possible infection. To start with, when they queue up, they'll be 2 meters apart, standing by the cones. When they come into school, there'll be hand sanitizer on the blue desks ready to clean their hands before they come in, and also when they leave. All the rooms have been set out with 2 meter spacing, so we can normally have 6 to 7 students in classrooms, with 10 or 11 in larger ones. And finally, we've created an online video which explains all this in more detail and a little bit of fun for them to watch. This is on the school website under the news section and is well worth watching before students return. Now, we know learning loss across the school is an issue at the moment because of the number of weeks students haven't been in school. And we know that for year 10 and 12 it's a particular issue with the exams next year. In school, we'll do everything we can to help them catch up, and we're developing a range of plans as we speak, and we'll let parents know about those as soon as we can. It is worth remembering though that we have 11 months from now before the exam, so there is plenty of time. It's not an instant fix. It's about planning something over those 11 months. It's also remembering that it's a national issue, and there is going to be a national solution. It affects all students in these year groups across the entire country. Now, the DfE is looking at this. There's a number of things they're thinking about. First of all is grade boundaries. So the number of grades each year has to be the same number of 9s, 8s, 7s and so on. But maybe the marks to get those grades may change. Now, this happens every year anyway, but this year it might be particularly large change. I think they may well move exams back a few weeks. So rather than start in May, maybe start in June. Still fit inside the summer term, but it gives an extra 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4 weeks for learning in the summer, which I think would help a little. They may look at reducing exam content, although I think that's quite unlikely. And if we have a second spike, and if we have to go back into lockdown, I think it is quite likely they'll have a mix of exams and teacher assessments. So rather than sit 2 or 3 exams per subject, maybe just 1 or 2 with teacher assessments for the missing units. Now, this will be a decision by the DfE. They're looking at it at the moment. Hopefully they'll get back to us before the summer holidays, but as soon as they let us know, we'll let you know. They are on it. There will be something. We're just not quite sure what it is yet, but it will be okay. Now, the online learning that we've been providing for our students is a bit of a new area for us, at least on this scale. We've always provided little, but not to this extent in the past. We've worked hard and we're trying to improve. I don't think we've got it 100% right. The feedback I'm getting from parents is we're doing a lot of things right, but we're not quite there yet, and we could do better. So with this in mind, heads of year will be sending out a questionnaire to parents, or maybe have already, asking for your feedback. We're going to use this to review and refine what we do, and we're particularly going to look at more consistency. Now, it's worth remembering that we're going to continue to offer some aspects of online learning in the new academic year, in the form probably of extended homeworks, and we're looking at various packages and methods to do that, because we're aware of the learning loss gap, and we think we need to cover that over the next 12 months. It's not something that we need to do instantly, but it is something we're very aware of. Now, a few days ago, the government made a new announcement about year 7, 8 and 9, which I think is a very positive step forward. Schools can now have year 7, 8 and 9 in school safely, but only for short one-to-one meetings. Now, these meetings would be about reacclimatising students to school, that social contact, that face-to-face contact, which I think is so important. We're hoping we can get these set up from June the 29th onwards, although obviously that's a little tight, but we think we can. They'll be in the afternoons, around about 20 to 30 minutes each, hopefully with tutors, but we can't guarantee that, but that's certainly the plan at the moment. Now, if you're interested in booking one of these meetings, please go to our latest letter and latest newsletter, which is online or was sent out on Friday. There's a link in there. If you click on that, you can book it using the form. Now, year 11 and 13 haven't had the summer exam season they were expecting. Obviously, exams were cancelled, and instead of exams, there's something called centre assessed grades. Our staff have awarded predicted grades to students. We've just sent them off recently, and these grades represent the grades we think they would have actually got had they sat the exams. Now, these grades aren't necessarily the final grades students will get. The grades are going to be moderated nationally to ensure fairness with previous years, and they could go up or down depending on this moderation, and this is the same for every school in the country. As a baseline, the government is going to use last year's results for each school for moderation purposes, taking into account any difference in ability. Last year our students achieved really strong results, and we expect broadly the same this year. They're going to be sent out probably by email on the 13th and 20th of August, which were the originally published dates, although we will confirm that closer to the time. Now, nationally, there will be an appeals process, and that appeals process is that students can sit the actual exam, and they'd sit that probably in September, October, maybe November. The fine details haven't been decided yet, but there is an appeals process if the awarded grade isn't what was expected. Now, the DfE has just announced a significant amount of extra money for schools for catch-up provision for the next 12 months or so, which obviously is great news. It looks like it's going to be $1 billion. 650 million is going to go to schools, 350 million is going to be kept centrally to provide online tuition. 650 million sounds a lot and could well be a lot, but we're not sure yet how much we would get as a school. It may be as low as 15,000, it may be as much as 90,000. I think it's more likely to be the top end of that range, but obviously we're not sure at the moment. Whatever we do get, we'll spend the whole lot on this provision. It's really important to us. Now, it looks like it's going to be for online provision, it's going to be for after school small group tuition, it may also include money for summer schools. The details are very sketchy at the moment, so we can't exactly tell you what's going to happen, but we have begun planning for a range of different scenarios, and certainly I'm really pleased about this. I think it could be a really positive step forward. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what's going to happen in September. It's quite hard at this stage to be certain about what's going to happen, but I think that broadly there are three possibilities. The first possibility is that there's no more social distancing, that the virus has pretty much run its course, and we can have a fullish return. We'd have to have some guidance around students who had symptoms, for example, but broadly I think a fullish return. If there's still 1 metre social distancing, which I think looks at least possible, we would have to have half classes. So students would be in for 1 week, and 1 week they'd have to be at home. 1 week on, 1 week off. The final possibility is that we've got a second peak and we're back to lockdown. Now let's really hope that doesn't happen. That would be absolutely awful. My own opinion is that no social distancing, fullish return is certainly what I would like, and I think is the most likely, but obviously at this early stage it's not possible to know. And I think it's also worth knowing that the decision will be made by the government, and we'll simply follow the national picture. When students return to us fully, hopefully in September, we know that after several months off they may need a lot of extra support. We're planning a pastoral programme for them over the next couple of weeks, which we'll release to parents before we finish in the summer, and that will include all sorts of elements to it, some of which are listed on the screen in this presentation. The key thing is that staff are going to be very supportive. We're a very supportive school. It has a real family feel, as you know, and I think that's a real highlight, a real unique selling point, a USP of the school. But we're going to be extra supportive in those first few days, those first few weeks, to get everybody back, ready, settled and learning fully again. We're also planning an academic recovery programme to help students catch up for any learning loss while they've been at home. We're updating our schemes of learning. We are looking, as you know from a previous slide, at after school tuition. We will take part in any national online tutor provision, which looks like it's coming. There will be extended homeworks, extra online learning, and the key thing is this is going to be a 12-month programme. It's not something that needs to happen in September, October. It's something we can pace over the year to make sure everybody's back on track by the end of the year. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you found that useful. Now please take care and stay safe. I'm going to play you out with a song called Home. This has been recorded by John from our computing department and Amy in year 11, and it's a really, really lovely track.
Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this wave is stringing us along,